Hello. So today we're going to talk about the ramp square wave generator. That's inside the VCO, so that's inside the voltage control oscillator. So last time I did part 1, which talked about the voltage to current exponential converter. Okay, so let's talk first about the input. So the input is AA. And what is AA? AA is the current coming from the exponential converter. So it's probably in the range of, I don't know, 1 microamp to 1 milliamp, something like that. And it's going into the inverting input of that op-amp here. And it has BPBN for the rails. And what is G2? So G2 is applied on the non-inverting input, and G2 is the virtual ground. So it's 4.5 volts. And as a reminder, BP is the battery. So BP, BN, you will see it all over the place. BP is the battery positive at 9 volt, and BN is the actual ground at 0. So this op-amp is used as a integrator. So you have a capacitor in the feedback loop, but you also have this JFET in the feedback loop. So we have to look into when this thing is switched on and when it is switched off. Let's assume for now that it is switched off. That means it's not actually part of the feedback loop. So you have the current coming into the inverting input. And as you know, when you have a feedback loop, the output of the op-amp is such that it's going to keep the current in the feedback loop equal to the current that's coming in here. The current in the feedback loop is going to be the same as the current coming from AA. So that's the job of the integrator. And what's going to happen is that to do that, the op-amp is going to have to increase the voltage here. So this voltage is going to go from 4.5 volts to whatever the BP is, because this is the positive rail. So what's going to happen is that the voltage at the output is going to ramp up from 4.5 volt to 9 volts. So now we said previously that the JFET was turned off. And why is that? As you know, the JFET is turned off when VGS is negative. I mean, not just negative, but pretty negative. So maybe around -4, -5, I'm not sure. But here you can clearly see that VGS is going to be negative because VG, the voltage at the gate is probably going to be 0, because here you have the ground here and you have a large resistor here. So VG is going to be 0, and VS, which is right here, is the same voltage as the voltage at the output of the op-amp. So VS is going to be at least 4.5 volts. So VGS is going to be very negative. So below -4.5. You might wonder, how is it going to affect the frequency of the oscillation? Well, the ramp is going to be steeper as you increase the current coming from the exponential converter. So the higher the current, the steeper the ramp is going to be, the faster the voltage is going to rise, and that's how it affects the frequency of the ramp wave. But we are not there yet. We don't really have a waveform because we are only ramping up. We need to bring that voltage down so that we get an oscillation. Okay, now how do we get this voltage, this ramp, to drop? So that's the job of this guy. So this is another op-amp that is used as a comparator. And here you have the threshold voltage at the inverting input, and it's controlled by, so it's here, so it's just a voltage divider between BP and Bn. So you have 10K, 15K, and here you get, it's even written here, 5.4 volts. So you get 5.4 volts, so that's your threshold. So whenever the voltage at the non-inverting input is greater than 5.4, the output goes into positive saturation. But if the voltage at the non-inverting input goes below 5.4 volts, then this output goes into negative saturation. And as usual, when you have a comparator, you are putting a resistor in the positive feedback loop. So that gives you some hysteresis so that the output doesn't switch very rapidly between positive and negative saturation when the two inputs are similar, are almost equal. So remember that here that we have that ramp. So the voltage goes up from this value, 4.5 volt. So it goes up, at some point it's gonna go above 5.4 volts, which again, this is the threshold. So what's gonna happen is that the output is gonna go into positive saturation, and because of that, you're gonna develop a current here going this way towards the gate of the JFET. So here you're gonna have again the voltage positive saturation. You're gonna lose a little bit of voltage because of this resistor. So the VG is probably gonna be high enough such that VGS is not minus 4 volt or minus 5 volt. Now it's gonna be much higher. It's probably gonna be closer to 0, which means that this JFET is gonna be open. So it's gonna be like an open switch. So the current is gonna be able to go across the drain source connection here. So what's gonna happen in that case? Well, the capacitor is gonna discharge into it. What's gonna happen is that it's gonna bring the it's gonna be instantaneous. The ramp voltage is gonna go from whatever it was at its peak. So the ramp goes like this. It's gonna go up and then it's gonna drop. And so it's gonna drop back down to G2. So it's gonna drop back down to 4.5 volts. When the output here goes back to this value, 4.5 volts, since 4.5 volts is below 5.4, this thing is gonna go into negative saturation. So the VG is gonna go back to 0 because VG is only seeing this path. And what happens is that in that case, this guy goes back to being a integrator because now, as we saw before, the current is gonna have to remain constant, equal to whatever AA brings. And that means that the voltage here is gonna ramp up again and the cycle continues, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's look at the LTSpice simulation and see how it actually runs. So this is pretty much exactly what's in the book, except that for some reason, for the rails, I use +10, -10. So basically, we're gonna look at the ramp. So this is the ramp. It's basically a sawtooth waveform. So let's run this thing. So we want to see what's happening here. So this is the output of this op-amp. So that's the ramp. You can look at here, you can look at here, doesn't matter. And it's exactly that, it's a sawtooth. So this is the ramp part. So in my case, it goes from a little bit over 4.5 all the way to what? All the way almost 6. And you get that instantaneous drop whenever the comparator goes into its positive saturation, but as you can see, it's instantaneous. During that time, the capacitor discharges, then you get the ramp again. It keeps going and going like this. Okay, so AA is the current coming from the exponential converter, and I modeled it as a current source, and the value for the current is a parameter x, and here I'm putting x equal to 0.1 microamps. The reason I use such a small value is so that I can see very clearly the waveform. But as you increase this current, let's say to 1 microamp or 10 microamp or 100, whatever, you're going to see that the frequency increases at the same rate as the current increases. So that's that for the ramp. So now we're going to look at the square wave. How do you generate the square wave from the ramp? Now let's have a look at the square wave generator. So what happens is that the square wave is generated directly from the ramp waveform. So this is your ramp, and it's gonna go here. Okay, so it's gonna be fed to both the inputs of another op amp. As you can see, op amps are very useful. So this is your op amp, and so on the non-inverting input, you have a R26 at 10K, and the other one on the inverting input, you have a resistor and a capacitor connected to ground. So this here is a passive low-pass filter, and basically a passive low-pass filter is a poor man's integrator, but it's also a way to average a signal. So the signal from the ramp, which is that sawtooth, it's gonna go pretty much unmodified to the non-inverting input, and it's gonna be average at the inverting input, which is gonna be basically our threshold, because this op amp is actually used as a comparator once again. So what happens is that the signal here, it's after a while it's gonna be like a horizontal line, and whenever the ramp goes above that line, the op amp is gonna output positive saturation, and when the ramp voltage is below that average line, you're gonna go into negative saturation. So in essence, you are creating a square wave here. So the output is gonna be a square wave. And those two resistors, R31, R32, is just a voltage divider to scale the output so that it conforms to whatever is expected in the next module. So the output is here. So that's SQR for square wave. That's all there is to it, really. Okay, so we are back in LTSpice. And okay, so let's run this thing. Oh, before we run, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to look at the ramp, of course. And I'm going to look at this voltage here, which is supposed to be that average. This is to be the average of the ramp voltage. So let's see. Okay, so this is the ramp. So we got that sawtooth. And now let's look at the threshold for that op amp here, which is supposed to be the average value of that voltage. So it's right here. Yeah, so it's supposed to end up here, around here, but it takes time, so I'll have to change because the capacitor has to charge. So let's put 1 second instead of 100, and let's rerun this thing. Okay. So this is the ramp, and now the blue. So the blue, this is the blue. The blue here, the blue is right here. So it's right in the middle. Okay, so it's exactly what we want. And the output, if we look at the output, it's going to be a square wave. And the frequency of the square wave is the same frequency as this sawtooth wave. Okay, so that's your square wave. It does what it says it's supposed to be doing, so that's good. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.